Hello there, this is Patricia from Pinky's World, and today I'm making candle boxes. I was having a good clear out in my room. Well, actually I was looking for something that I haven't been able to find for ages, and going through this room I found so many things that I need to use. So I'm using up old stash. I'm using up these lovely tea light candles that I've had for a couple of years. I never finished off using them, and I've made a wee acetate gift box. Now this is the bigger version. It holds a lot. I mean, you need to be really generous to give somebody 12 tea light candles. I think it's just a wee bit over the top. So I went for the smaller version, and we'll get loads of wee presents out of this. Great for craft fairs, great for wee gifts if somebody buys a card or whatever from you. And great for your customers even to send a wee gift in the post. I made my acetate slightly too small there, so I've corrected that. I have to do the things right or wrong before I can do them right. I might have to change that. Anyway, this is the version that we're going with, and it's gorgeous papers. They're called Shining Christmas, and the ribbon is the match of it. It's what do you call it? Cherry cobbler, but it's an old ribbon. Unfortunately, you can't get it, but I'm sure there's something in there that would excite you. And I've tied it on with a wee bit of cherry cobbler baker's twine, or soft cotton actually. That's old as well. But as I say, I have all these wee drips and drabs and I want to use them up. So this is what I went with. This time I decided, yes, I'm going for the small one, but I'm going with this one. I didn't like the way my trees were running in the wrong directions. This stripy one worked perfectly. It's really, really beautiful. And you can see the shine of the foil of it. It's gorgeous paper. Great for making gift boxes and whatever, but my poor trees are upside down. So I'm not going to repeat that paper. I'll use this one. So it'll not matter which way the presents are going. It has a lovely wee version inside as well. This needs to be 6 1/4 by 6 1/4 for the smaller one. If you want the bigger one, measurements, just ask me and I'll drop them to you. The acetate for the small one needs to be 4 3/4 by 4 3/4. So we need to do a bit of scoring. So just plonk your paper in there. As I said, it's 6 1/4 by 6 1/4, and you just want to score it at, where are we, 3/4 of an inch, and then 1 1/2 inches. And then just spin your paper around and do that on all 4 sides. So 3/4 of an inch, and then 1 1/2 inches. So repeat that for the next 2 sides. Now while you have your scoreboard out, you may as well score your acetate. And as I said, it's 4 3/4 by 4 3/4. And I go in with my narrow point. Let's see if I can get this to stop glaring at you. There's something going on there. Not much better, sure it's not. But you'll know what I'm talking about. Go in with your narrow point and score it at 3/4 of an inch on all sides, but go in with that narrow point. Hold your acetate or your window sheet. These are the window sheets out of Stampin' Up, and they're pretty thick. So I give it a couple of scores, and then I go in with the thicker one and go down at 3/4 of an inch again. And that just gives it a good score line for you to work with. So make sure you keep it nice and flat when you go back in for your next one. And again, go in at 3/4 of an inch with your narrow tool. And then go back in with your broader tool. The narrow one helps break it up a wee bit, and then you make your good score line with that. So repeat that on the other 2 sides as well. So we're going to do this, and just bear in mind this is glossy effect paper, so it's going to hit you there. There's nothing I can do. I could turn it over, but I can't see my lines, so I don't want to do that. If it's annoying you, look away, but I'll try and show you before we get started there. You can see a score line here, one here, and one here. We're going to cut up the inner one straight up to that second score line. So just cut it straight up. And then just go into this one and cut it straight up to the same spot there. And you can turn that and cut that one in a bit. So you're cutting that part away and slightly going in, and then we're going to cut this square off. You don't need it. And then we're going to trim those in slightly just to keep them nice and neat. And that's the way you want to continue. We're going to just narrow this one in slightly, just up to that first score line there. See there. Turn your thing round, your piece round, and do the same again up here. We'll do this one with you. Straight up to the second score line, and straight up to the second score line, and then just swivel your scissors and chop in. And then cut this one off, trim everything in slightly on both sides there, and trim this wee one in just up to the first score line here. So turn it again, repeat, turn it again and repeat. So that is what you should be finished with. Everything going around the circle nearly, all your wee tabs. So just take your time, give it a wee burnish. Depending on how thick your paper is, don't go too heavy. If it's not too bad, don't worry about it. It's awkward to get these wee bits to stick because they're shiny. So I'm going to go in with my very old Snail Adhesive Permanent. I do have another one of these now, but I had so much of them I still have enough. So I'm going to put a bit on each of those wee tabs the whole way around. You could use your turn tape, your red tape, whatever you have in your stash. I'm not going to bother with the wet glue of this particular part because it's too slippy and slidey. So you want to line these up so that your corners are nicely caught, and just give it a wee press and do that the whole way around. It's important that you get nice corners so that your candles sit in there nicely. And that is the start of your box, and now you're going to stick your flaps down. You have 4 of these, and because it's sticking to the non-shiny paper, you can go in with your wet glue. Just give it a line. Doesn't need to be too much glue, and it should sit in there nicely and give you that nice support that you need to hold your candles. So give it a good Scooby-Doo there, just so that it's nice and firm. It gives it a nice wee firm edge. So just glue all those down. Now, whenever I went to get my candles, I had no red ones left, so I made a wee cover for each of them to make them all look the same under the, what do you call it? The acetate. So to do that, punch yourself a circle in just scrap card, 1.5 inch circle. I scored down the centre to make it. I don't know what is wrong with the brightness in this room tonight. There's a line down here and a line down here, score line, and then that give me the middle point. And that's what you want, is your middle point. So get yourself a 1.5 inch punch, and it's the same paper. This is the holly one, but I love the spots on the other side of it for the candles. So punch yourself a wee bit of that out. Set it on top of your, set it under it, not on top of it. Set the nice paper underneath and put it on something you're not going to punch through in your desk, and just mark the centre. And then just go in with your punch, whatever you use to punch, a small circle, and that gives you that wee bit that should slip over the top of the wick and just sit nicely into your, and then just keeps them all looking the same. So just a wee tip, and then you can hold on to that for the rest of the season if you're making more. So we'll move on now to our bit of acetate, which is bugger to keep clean, isn't it? I'm messy at the best of times, but to keep acetate clean is practically impossible. So anyway, you want to cut. There's your, oh, you're going to be able to see this at all. This is your square corner here where you've scored at 3/4 of an inch the whole way around. So you have 4 squares on each corner, and you just want to, instead of going up the score line, go in between the width of that and cut up to that score line, and then you can cut this one away, but cut right up to the top, and that's giving you a wee flap to work with. See it there, this wee flap. So you want to do that in each of them. Go out halfway on that block and then cut the full block of this one. Make sure you cut it all. These things cling to you, don't they? So we'll do that in all 4. Halfway on one and then up the crease line on the other. And constantly turn it so that all the bulk is not going to be at one side when you go to stick it. So halfway up to that score line and then up the full line there, and that gives you that. If you need to cut in, do so. I'm going to see how it goes first before I decide. So now you want to do your scoring, and it can be a bit tricky because this acetate is so thick, but you want it to be thick because it's holding your candles. So give it a good rub-a-dub. Same with that wee tiny bit there. You want to make sure that you've scored it. You can afford to get these a really good sharp burnish just so that it holds its shape for you. You can see your box lid now taking shape. Get a recipe out of your packet of acetate. And as I say, it's good and sturdy. Or your window sheets, we call them. So now you have, just this wee one to burnish here. You have 4 flaps and 4 sides. And you need to be able to glue them. You can either use a glue dot, or I'm going to go with this baby again. So just pull that part out that you want to add tape to, and just use your finger to hold it. It will catch, and then pop it in and join it. You aren't going to see this, it's going to be down inside the box, so don't worry too much about it. So just do that in them all. Put your finger out, hold it, and just rip your roller down so that you're catching enough tape to hold it. Make sure it's keeping its shape. And the same here. So hard to see this acetate, isn't it? The lights is bouncing everywhere. Just make sure you have enough tape there to hold it. And this is permanent tape, so it should do the job. Oh, to be permanent till I'm ready for you. Right, I think that's it. So we've got a nice wee box now. Even if it's messy with my fingerprints, I can give it a nice wee rub. That should fit in. Keep your handles in out of the way at one side till you get the other side down. This is a neat fit, which is why I'm catching on my candles. Oh, come on, don't do that, Emma. This wee candle is just sticking out too much. I'm going to have to go a different way. I don't want it any looser, otherwise it's just going to be rattling in there like a... Holy moly. You just need to shake your candles out of the way till you get each side in. And once you have it in, see, it's caught there now. So I can get that to pop out. Oh, look at you. Have to come out again anyway. You know, you wonder would it be easier putting your candles in upside down. Let's try this. Just see if it works. Could be as bad. So this goes over the outside. Oh, it worked. Very good. Turn them upside down. There's the secret. Very good. I'm pleased with that. Now, we need to make it nice. Can't just leave it like that. It's a bit poxy looking. So I'm going in with this ribbon. I still have a wee bit of it left. Might get another one or two out of it. You never know. So we want to go across and then underneath. And then this one comes this way. This one goes this way. And just make sure that you're going to have enough, and you want your ribbon facing the right way, to just tie a knot. I'm not going to go with a bow. A knot will be fine. So that seems to be okay. I'm going to tie it in a rough knot here, and then capture that underneath there, and then pull it tight. And then twist your ribbon so that you're getting the nice part up that you want to show. And I'm putting it sort of so that my tag goes here, so it's sort of triangular. Just trim that off. So then we just need a little tag. So, need some cord of some sort. Here we go. I wonder is that big enough? You need it to be 1.5 inches. That's okay. So I'm going to stamp the same thing. I think Warm Wishes, which is out of the Very Cute, but I'm sure you've got loads of stamps that has nice sentiments. I think it goes just because it's candles. I'm going in with the Cherry Cobbler. Even though it's mostly mossy green on that, I will add a mossy green doodah gem. Hope I put that in the right place. Just about. And then if you get a piece of the Cherry Cobbler or the mossy green, whichever you want. There's mossy green in that. Hold fire a wee second. So I found some mossy meadow, you call it, not mossy green. And I've stuck the sentiment in place, and I'm just going to cut it. Punch out with 1 3/4 inch punch. I'm running out of space here again. I'd need another table. So now we've got that. We want to punch a hole in the top so we can thread our wee bit of stuff in. This soft cotton. Not doing nothing spectacular with it. I'm just going to slide it underneath here. If you're making a lot of these, you don't want too much fuss and bother, so you don't. I'm just putting a wee tiny mini bow there, just to finish it. If I can get it in. Okay. Didn't leave myself enough there, sure didn't. That's bringing tightness to the extreme. Trying to use up stuff here, Patricia. So, try again. A wee mini bow to finish it off. Goodness, I have 2 thumbs and no fingers in it. It's trying my patience. Come on. There we go. At last. So just get them, oops, at the right level. Seam side. And chop your tails. So again, to finish that, I'm going to go in with, I have these. Always go to the clearance section. I go to the clearance section all the time. If I'm putting an order in, I automatically check the clearance section and see if there's anything that would be of use to me. So I'm going to put with the mossy green star. They're a couple of years old. And just twist that about to it. It all looks nice. I want this coming over to the side. And that should give you a nice wee package to either sell at a craft fair, give to a friend, whatever. And if you're really generous, you go for the big one. That used a lot of candles. Somebody lucky will get that. But I think it's nice that they sort of sit triangular rather than straight up, and put your bows so they're coming across. And that's a good wee tip to cover your candles. I'm sure somebody's done it before, but it just came to me. So that is me finished. That was exhausting because I'll have everything listed below. Anybody wants the measurements for the bigger one, give me a shout and I'll send them to you. But in the meantime, I'll have the measurements for the smaller one on my blog. And I'll catch us all again soon. Thanks for watching now. Bye.